Again, you're talking about Oregon State want to come back and negate those runs they just gave up. Unearned runs, no less. On the ground could be two. Spanier goes to Council, goes over the first, and they get the double play. As easy as 6-4-3. Spanier to Council to Niels. The pitch. That's a good off-speed pitch. 83. Still a slider, or would you call that a change?
I still got to call it a slider. A little bit more of a sleeper, a little slower, especially being 16 miles an hour off.
That was the slowest pitch he's thrown, though. That's why I asked.
He's just kind of throwing it, letting it slide over the plate.
Swing and a miss. And down he goes, and that ends things here in the first inning.
At the top of the order with Rowdy Jordan, Cameron James, and Tanner Allen.
Well, certainly worth the replay. You can't fault Jim Schlossnagle for doing it.
And there's a blast to left center field. That's hit well. Wolf going back. Wow. It's out of here. Rowdy Jordan gets rowdy again. And it's 2-1 TCU.
You look at Casper at second. And the lead runner, McDowell. That's a drive to center field. Stancato going up. Wow. No chance. Home run, a grand slam.
Wow.
Opportunity to drive in a run with a runner at second. And he drills one to center. Jurgella going back. See you later.
Absolutely got every little bit of that ball. Now he's still sitting in that 9 spot in this order. Now, how amazing is that when you're sitting there building a lineup? You got a freshman in your 9-hole. And
he drills it again. Deep to left. Make it a third. Home run. David, he belted one yesterday that I thought was a rocket shot. That one might have even surpassed it.
That was a missile. That was incredible.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2-2 the score. The crowd coming alive here for Oregon State. The host team here in the Sanderson Ford College Baseball Classic. Oh. High drive, deep to right field. Forget it. Bahana says goodbye. So does Bazana. 3-run blast.
And he sat back and watched it. He knew, everybody knew, the pitcher knew. Wow.
Back here at the Sanderson Ford College Baseball Classic. Monday morning, an outstanding crowd again for Oregon State as we get ready for the bottom of the first inning. Minnesota in the field. Weber Niels is at first. Brady Council at second. Ike Mazenga, the shortstop. Jake Perry, the third baseman. Boston Marilla in left. Brady Jurgella in center. And Chris Hokinson is in right. Sam Hunt is behind home plate. And Thomas Gross is on the mound. The lineup for Oregon State. Travis Bazana, second baseman. Mike McDowell, center fielder. Mason Guerra, first baseman, bats third. The cleanup man is Brady Casper. Right fielder. So you look at it. Hainline, the shortstop. Turley, DH. Macias in left. Weber, the catcher. Caraway is the number 9 man. And Bazana leads off the first inning for Oregon State. Gets a base hit.
We should be used to that by now. Nothing new here.
We were talking about how many times he led off the inning yesterday. What was it, 4 or 5?
Yes, and just crushing the ball. It's just you're waiting. You just want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know what's going to happen.
You had the number, and it just keeps going.
Just never seems to end. It is impressive. Great all-around hitter. Again, we've seen the power. We've seen the finesse. We've seen the base hits. Seen the speed.
Drive to left field by McDowell, but having a play on the warning track is Boston Marilla. Even on the outs, sends that for a ride.
Looks uncomfortable. You got to work just to get an out against this offense.
John Anderson, 43rd year as the head coach of Minnesota. Mitch Canham, 4th year at Oregon State. 134-71 is his record. And the one thing, remember, he's kind of cautious, saying, hey, we got a World Series possible team. He just says, hey, we're pretty good. But what he does say, our team, 1 through 9, they can bunt and they can hit it 500 feet over the batter's eye.
You know, one thing we were looking at last year, 7 of their 8 best hitters were returning to this offense. That is incredible. That's impressive.
On the college level with the draft and everything else, that is impressive. And they've got a lot of guys who are draftable.
Yes, they got a lot of guys, too, that are draftable.
That's a line drive up the middle by Guerra for a base hit. Up with the ball is Jurgela, stopping at second, Bazzana. Oregon State just hitting the ball extremely hard. Guerra came in 167. No home runs, 2 RBIs, and that'll bring up Brady Casper. A tough out. 4 for 8 in the 3 games coming in. 500, 1 home run, and he's tied with Bazzana for second on the team with 6 RBIs. Gavin Turley has 9 RBIs in 3 games.
Turley, though, picked up a lot of them yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yes, he did. He might have picked up almost all those yesterday with the 2 home runs. With Casper, he's got a triple, a double, the home run. He's kind of done everything already. And this is a big spot already, first inning. We're talking about Thomas Gross, the starter for Minnesota. We already saw him in the tournament against Cal State Bakersfield. Came in, and that was that back and forth game, you know, where Minnesota is just looking for somebody that can close the door. Remington came in, gave up a couple runs. Clausen came in, gave up a couple runs. And then Gross came in, faced 6 batters. Sat them all down through the 11th and 12th inning.
Yeah, he ended up getting a win.
Got the win. Minnesota scored that run in the 12th. They were just looking for somebody that can shut down Bakersfield's offense that one time, because Minnesota kept scoring. Jumped out ahead 3-0. Bakersfield came back tied at 3-3. And then Minnesota kept putting runs on the board, but the bullpen couldn't hold them.
Down over the right side, that's a base hit. Bazzana round the bend. He will score. 1-0 Oregon State. Base hit for Brady Casper. RBI number 7.
Right in the hole between second and first. No play there. The first baseman might have been able to make a move for it, but he went straight back to the bag, hoping the second baseman was a little closer. Good arm there by Hokanson in right field, firing it into third base. I thought that was an interesting throw considering there was a back runner. But, man, he made a throw right on the money at third base. The back runner, Casper, who had the base hit, never even thought about moving to second.
Here we go again with Oregon State. 4 batters, 3 hits, and a run. Almost on cue.
It's nonstop. You know, it was interesting last time they played, you know, they scored a lot early. Oregon State scored a lot early, you know, in that 3rd inning. They scored a ton of runs that 3rd inning, 5 runs that 3rd inning. And it happened quick, like this: home run, double, base hit, home run. This offense just, when they get going, it doesn't seem to end. You know, it doesn't feel like there's a base hit and then an out and then another out and then maybe a walk, then an out. They get going. When somebody steps up, gets a hit, it's just like the next man up, next man up.
Hainline, 125. He's 1 for 8, but he's got a home run and 2 RBIs. You don't see that very often. The guy 1 for 8 and that 1 a base knock for a home run.
He wants to get a part of this. He wants to get more bats, more hits. Got him.
And again, the Oregon State fans cheer absolutely everything.
Those little rumblings, I don't think they were happy about Hainline getting hit.
Well, it's also rumbling that they feel like they're waiting for something to happen because of this guy at the plate. The DH, Gavin Turley, .333, 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in. Turley already 4 runs scored. 1 double, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts as we have the meeting at the mound.
Turley had a double in his 3rd at bat and a single in his 4th at bat the very first game against New Mexico. And then went 0 against Minnesota, against this Minnesota team. Had a walk in there, but then really just busted out in the 7th and 8th inning yesterday against Bakersfield. 0-3 until that 7th inning home run. And then again, that home run in the 8th. That was his moment for this whole.
His moment. And it's like, oh, wake up time, because we saw him do that from the first game last year as a freshman.
Yes. He busted out those last couple of bats.
Ty McDevitt was the mound visit there. His first pitch to Turley, a strike, and you hear the crowd.
I don't think they liked it. It was a good pitch, though. Ooh.
That goes all the way to the backstop, and Guerra will score on the wild pitch. 2-0 Oregon State.
Gross pulling that. He missed the Sanderson Ford sign. Saved Sanderson Ford another $50, but pulled it really bad. 1 strike on the count, so he was trying to get him to swing at something away, trying to make sure to get something away from the bat. Tried a little too hard.
2-0 our score. Wild pitch scoring Mason Guerra.
Again, try to limit the damage here. This is really tough, especially 2 guys in scoring position now without the force out. Try to do what you can to limit this. Good off speed there.
So Turley on the punch out. It's kind of unique. I mean, a team that struck out a good number of times last year, but also walked a good number of times, they get angry when they strike out. And watch out the next time they come up to the plate.
I like it. Take it personal. Don't strike out and just be okay with it. Be angry at yourself. Be angry that you weren't able to produce. Knowing you had 2 guys in scoring position, something in the play gets you an RBI. You should be angry, be frustrated. That shows that they're good players and they care.
And I bring that up because we've talked about the adjustments that this team has made. Second time around, they're up at the plate with a different approach than the first time.
Yes, absolutely. Every time they come to the plate, it almost looks like it's a different approach. And they bend and flow with the pitcher and what they need to do that inning.
Right.
And they see what the pitcher's throwing, see how they're attacking them, see how the pitcher's trying to adjust, and they make a quick adjustment right to that. It's almost like a football team that first half, second half. They come out their second time through.
That's a great analogy because that's exactly what it's like.
They're watching the game the first half, and then they come out that second bat and just attack.
Council on the charge will put out Dallas Macias, who was 1 for 1 coming in. Oregon State gets on the board. They get a couple of runs, and we go to the second. 2-0 Oregon State over Minnesota on Flow Baseball. From Surprise, Arizona, Surprise Stadium, it is the 2022 Sanderson Ford College Baseball Classic. Scott Galetti along with Mike Rooney. Game number 6 of day number 3, and Mike, it finishes off the way it started. Oregon State taking on New Mexico.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Oregon State can't get enough of that team right now. It just feels like they're going to be a national player all year. Certainly going to be among the contenders to win the Pac-12 championship. It's a very deep roster. They check literally every box. I'm not sure there's a weakness on this club. and the freshman Travis Spizana has been super impressive.
No, absolutely. They come in 3-0. Victories over New Mexico, 21-1, 13-5 over Gonzaga, and then 9-5 in the first game today over Gonzaga. New Mexico 0-3. They had that blowout loss to Oregon State, a 3-2 loss to Gonzaga, and a 12-2 count against the Bulldogs. They're in need of a victory.
Yeah, and it's a rebuild mode right now. First-year head coach Todd Brown, he's from the Southwest. He's a Tucson guy, played at University of Arizona. We saw what he did at North Dakota State, taking them to the NCAA tournament twice. And so we know New Mexico can be very good in baseball. Ray Birmingham built a very strong program. It's just going to take some time to get back there.
And we get an opportunity to see a young man for Oregon State from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Jacob Kometz.
Yeah, this is a future Friday night guy, weekend starter for Oregon State. Very talented young freshman.
So it's Oregon State and New Mexico coming up next from Surprise, Arizona.
Welcome back here to Globe Life Field. Scott Galetti along with former Major Leaguer Pat Combs, and what a game we're seeing. Top of the 7th, it is 6-5 in favor of Tech. But one team scores, the other one comes right back.
Boy, it's been a game of momentum shifts for sure.
Right.
But yeah, the 5 spot by Tech, and then Arkansas answers back with their own 5. And yeah, we were with a tie game up until this last inning when Tech went ahead 6-5. But it certainly has felt like that. Some huge momentum shifts along the way.
And we still have a long way to go as we go to the 7th.
7th inning stretch time here in Surprise, Arizona. I'm Scott Galetti. David Ardsma, former Major League pitcher, and we're seeing a good one here in day 3 of the Sanderson Ford College Baseball Classic. A 2-2 tie. Good pitching, good fielding, and a smattering of good hitting.
Just an incredible baseball game all around, especially on the pitching side. Segura, the freshman, coming out and pitching really, really well.